Hi everyone, it's Shaz Jones, and it is a really windy day here in Old Sydney town, and it's been so blustery all day. I was having it die down a bit so I could go for my walk in relatively calm conditions, but it just never happened. So I went for a walk in really blustering conditions, which is actually quite invigorating when you're sort of walking along and either when you're going into it or when you're, being pushed along by it, you kind of feel more alive. But it did make me think about electricity because wind, as you'll realize, is a renewable energy, and a lot of people are using wind to generate electricity. So they've got these wind turbines. You've probably seen them in your travels. But also, wind actually plays havoc with my hair and static electricity. So I've just combed it so I'll sort of calm down, but you can still see that it's just going crazy because there's so much static electricity in my hair today. It's kind of crazy, very crazy hair day. But it reminded me that most of our bodily functions, the energy that we use to perform those functions is electricity. So it's not like we have to plug into anything. We have these electrical systems in our body. So, for example, most of our cells have a charge. They're either a negative charge, which is all your like proteins or your amino acids and things like that, or they're kind of a neutral um, charge like water would be. But water is actually a conductor of electricity. So you'll notice on really humid days, there's not um, a lot of static electricity. Your hair goes fuzzy with the humidity, but it doesn't go staticky. Um, and because water is able to conduct static electricity. And static electricity is called static because it doesn't flow. It sort of builds up on the surface of an object. Or so you've probably been shocked by a person who's, wearing great like nylon stockings on nylon carpet or something like that. Or if you've gone to open your car, sometimes you might have got a shock from that. They're all examples of electricity. And most of the signaling in our body, including when we feel full, when it's time to lose weight, all of those signals that flow from our body to our brains or from our brains to our body are basically just electrical signals. And if your body is functioning correctly and the charge in your body, the balance in your body of negatively charged cells and positively charged cells is working well, then those signals will work really effectively and efficiently. You'll be energy efficient inside your own body, if you like. If they're not working well, then you'll have problems. So a lot of people who are like me, morbidly obese, um, don't have a great signal for when they're full. So they will eat and continue eating thinking that they're hungry. And then all of a sudden they'll feel really uncomfortably full. But they should have got the signal from their stomach to their brains hours before. They should have stopped a long time before they actually get that signal. So that's an example of a signal that's not working well. And a lot of these signals, these electrical charges or signals, are done via hormones. And so if your hormones aren't working well, then you won't regulate your weight very well. So the times that most, particularly women, put on the most weight the most rapidly is puberty, pregnancy, and menopause. And they are all times when the hormones are just going crazy. As anyone who's been through puberty or pregnancy or menopause will know, or anyone who's lived with anyone who's been through that will know. So, yeah, it just reminded me. So, one of the advantages of being outside is that you tend to put your body in touch with all of those electrical atmospheric signals like static electricity from the wind. I don't want you to go and stand in the middle of a field during a lightning storm and risk getting hit by lightning, but it just reminded me that fresh air and sunshine, which if you haven't watched any of the other videos, please watch them because they are really important to the way your body signals. So just briefly, so your body, when it's in sunshine, for example, your body can become a nutrition factory. You manufacture vitamin D on your skin. And so the nutrients that you need, one of which is vitamin D. Anyone who's ever had any problem with their thyroid probably has a problem with calcium as well. And yet it's not just a problem with calcium, it's actually they don't have enough vitamin D to absorb the calcium in their body. So that sunshine helps us generate nutrients. That's one thing sunshine does. It also helps us generate nitric acid. So the skin cells, when you're out in the sunshine, will produce nitric acid. So all of your green leafy vegetables, you hear nutritionists and dietitians saying all the time, oh, you need lots of green leafy vegetables. Because they put nitrates into your body, and nitrogen is really useful for lots of bodily functions. One of them is lowering your blood pressure. So if you sit out in the sunshine, your body has the ability to not only manufacture nutrients, but also manufacture medicines. This nitric acid, which is a blood pressure medicine, basically, it makes you relax, makes the blood flow easier and lowers the blood pressure. So your body can do nutrient in sunshine, it can do medicines in sunshine, but also it can do energy. It can create static electricity when you're in the sunshine. So sunshine itself is basically energy. It is the source of energy for all of our food in one way or another. So whether it's plants that get their energy from the sun and turn that into sugars for fruit and for their actual structure vegetables, whether that's in the form of cellulose or starch or glucose, fructose, all of that, or whether it's animals who also are feeding on plants and get their energy directly from the sun and indirectly from their food, like we do. Sunshine is basically the energy for all of our food. And inside our bodies, there are actually twice as many. This is going to freak you out if you've never heard this before, so sorry. But all of your body cells, your human cells in your body, are only about half of all of the bacteria cells in your body. So there's these tiny microscopic animals that are living on the inside of you, and they need feeding. And even them, even though they're living in the darkness of your intestines or your stomach or wherever, even they get their energy from the sunshine as well via the plants and the food that we eat. And if you don't eat the right foods, that's when you get a balance in your microbiome or your gut flora, as it's called, which is basically just all this bacteria that's in your body. And what that bacteria does, the purpose of that is to help trigger those hormones. So some of those bacteria will eat up some sugars and some of them will release some sugars. But what that does is it affects the hormonal function in your body. And that, of course, is how different facilities that your body performs are signaled. So I hope that helps you understand a bit about weight loss and energy. A lot of people don't understand that when you lose weight is not when you are at peak physical energy, such as, running on a treadmill. The only time that you actually lose weight is when you are in deep sleep. And during that time, there's massive rapid signaling going on in your body, but that depends on having, good hormones and good signaling, good energy. Basically, that the cells, it's, for example, if you have too much sugar in your body, then the sugar can't permeate into the cells. Like it should be like a very smooth osmosis flow. So the water and the fluids in your body should flow through the walls of your cells, like basically like a shark net or a fishing net, that has sort of some kind of structure, but it's a very loose structure that allows fluids to flow through. Well, your cells should be like that. But if you have too much sugar, it's like your cells get full and they're like, whoa, I don't want any more of that. And so they kind of close off against the sugar and they become resistant to letting these sugar flow through. But also, all of the other hormonal things like insulin that release or reduces the sugar, and leptin, which tells your brain that you're full when you've been eating, all of those sort of things get hampered. A lot of people know about serotonin in the brain and how it helps you sleep and wake and regulate your sleep, but only 10% of serotonin is actually in the brain. You have another big pool of serotonin available to you. And that other 90% of serotonin is actually in your gut. And so that hormone is still doing signaling, but it is completely different to the happy serotonin hormone in your brain. And again, it's an electrical kind of signal. So if you want to continue on this weight loss journey with me, if you're morbidly obese, I want to help you with ways that are natural, that are simple, and that are free. So I don't want you to go out and buy anything. I haven't got anything to sell. I'm just doing it to help. I don't want you to do anything that's too difficult, because one of the things that your body relies on is you being relaxed. And so all the other medical advice for people who are skinny and their body is functioning well, where they say you've got to go and you've got to do all this exercise, got to get out of breath and get your heart rate up and do at least half an hour, at least 3 times a week. All of that is bad for people who are morbidly obese, because you are too stressed. Your body is already too stressed. It's already carrying a larger burden, literally, than anyone else. And so what your body needs to do is relax and be very calm. And so in all of the ways that I want to teach you how to go on this weight loss journey, it's about getting more calm into your life and more relaxation, because that stress hormone of cortisol, which is great to get up and it'll squeeze all the sugars out of your muscles if you're a healthy, athletic, thin person, and that's what you want it to do. But if you're already morbidly obese, you don't want more sugar getting out of your muscles into your bloodstream. You've already got too much. So you don't want to have anything to do with cortisol. You don't want to stress your body in any way. You want to remain calm. And a lot of people get stressed and they don't even realize that they're getting stressed. So if I wanted to instantly change your body chemistry, the quickest way for me to do it is to scare you, because you will instantly, without it going through your conscious brain at all, your unconscious brain will release cortisol, that stress hormone, shut down your digestion, and give all your resources to fight or flight. And a lot of people spend all their time in this stress state. And it means that they've never digested their food properly for years, because they start having food and then they're just in fight or flight. Some people are in fight or flight while they're eating, even before they're like, oh, I'm stressed, I need to eat. And so they start off their digestion process in a shutdown state. And basically, they turn their body into, like, I call it a YouTube. So the food goes in and then it comes out the other end. And they end up producing, I don't want to get too graphic, but they end up producing a lot more waste product than they otherwise would. So they go to the toilet too much. If your body is producing waste, it means it's not functioning effectively. There's two reasons. Either what you're putting into it is junk, so you need to stop that, or you're putting into it good food, but it can't digest it. And it may be because you're putting in too much, and it also may be because you're putting it in a state where you're stressed. And if that's happening, you're not digesting. Your body has already shut down your digestion system if you're in that stress mode. So it may go through, it will digest enough to go through to become waste product down your YouTube, but it won't metabolize. It won't become part of you. And so none of those nutrients become part of you. So the nitrates that you need to burn the fat, they don't become part of you. The vitamins, the minerals that are the catalyst for a lot of these electrical signals, they don't become part of you. And if they don't metabolize correctly, then you can't burn fat like you should be able to. When you get them working right, your body just naturally is a fat burning machine. But you can't eat while you're stressed, and you can't overeat, and you can't eat all junk. Otherwise, you'll never get to that stage where you are metabolizing, getting the nutrients in that you want, and getting the fat out that you don't want. So if you're looking for any hints or tips about how to structure when you eat, what sort of foods you eat, how to find out what's right for your body, because everyone's different. Everyone that I know that is morbidly obese is morbidly obese, and they have some kind of medical condition as well. So they're morbidly obese and they have an underactive thyroid, or they're morbidly obese and they have high blood pressure, or they're morbidly obese and they have lymphedema. Is it that's what it's called? Anyway, something like that. They have another issue. I met a man the other day. He had thyroid cancer and had to have his thyroid taken out. So everyone's different. You have to find out what works for you. Some people can work really well on having lots and lots of fruit, and other people just get this, the gut just rejects fruit. So you need to know what works for you, what doesn't work for you. When I first started on this journey, I was having too much cauliflower and kale and those cruciferous vegetables. They just didn't work well for me. And I was actually, my body was in pain. But when I switched to things like spinach that weren't as chunky in their fiber, but still had the same nutrients, it was like day and night, just really worked well. So anyway, if you want to get in touch so that we can go on this journey together, then please leave a comment below and I'd love to hear from you. Have a good day.